Working as an FBI special agent was my dream job. My whistleblowing was apolitical and in the spirit of upholding my oath. Nonetheless, the FBI cynically elected to close ranks and attack the messenger.
The FBI will crush you. This government will crush you and your family if you try to expose the truth about things that they are doing that are wrong. We are all examples of that.
Joining us now are Steve Friend and Garrett O'Boyle. Thanks for joining us, fellas.
FBI whistleblowers Steve Friend and Garrett O'Boyle both join us now. Gentlemen, so glad to have you on the program. Thank you for your testimony.
We need more folks like you, and I'm sure more people are going to be, from your background, are going to be giving you guys more intel as you're sharing that with the rest of us. We can kind of see that this is becoming normal for them to be held accountable, because I think especially an institution that we pay their salaries, they need to be held accountable.
I think a lot of people do share our beliefs and convictions. I think they just aren't at the point that Steve and I and others have gotten to. They're too afraid.
Thank you so much for being a guest here on PBD Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
How big is that bloody flag that Steve's got? It's the stole wall of his house. Lots of love, guys. Thanks very much for joining us.
Steve Friend, Garrett O'Boyle. Thank you for being with us this morning. More importantly, thank you for speaking out. We appreciate it.
You're in the information age, but facts are in short supply. Reject the noise, ask bold questions, and pursue the truth with FBI whistleblowers and founding suspendables Garrett O'Boyle and Steve Friend. This is the American Radicals Podcast.
It is the American Radicals Podcast on a Saturday, finally off of hiatus. It's been a week, guys, reunited, and it feels so good today, 10:30 Eastern time here on rumble.com/amradpod. Apologies, we had to go on hiatus. It's my fault. As you can tell from the complexion, I was in the Florida Keys area getting some sun as I had an opportunity to help some DOD guys as a role player. No, I didn't get shot with ammunition rounds. It was more of an electronic warfare scenario, but it was fun. Unfortunately, though, pulled me away from the program. Today, though, is Saturday. We're back, and we're going to do a little bit of an unusual show because I was out of sync with the news. I didn't have the internet with me, so I've had a story in reserve, and I want to cover it with Garrett. And when I mean in reserve, it's a story that is from 2018. I've had it since before the American Radicals Podcast. And the title of today's show is Origin Story. I don't know if anybody's been watching Disney and if you've seen the figures on Snow White. Not many of you have, but they've gotten around to this idea. They want the origin story of many of the villains. They're trying to make them into anti-heroes. We're seeing like Maleficent. You had the Wicked movie came out. I believe there's a Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil wanted to skin puppies alive, but they're going to try to make her sympathetic. So I'm saying all of this as a buildup because I want to talk about an origin story for the character class, the demographic of the people I like to call the worst people on earth. And those are the liberal white women who live in the suburbs, drive a Subaru, have a coexist bumper sticker, and will gleefully cut the genitals off their own children so that they can impress their friends at brunch. And I think I have the origin story for that. So we're going to get to all of that today. But before we do, let's thank the underwriting sponsor of today's program. And let's go back to the OG sponsor. That's the True Earth Pharmacy, trueearth.co, trueearth.co. And our promo code is AMRAD25, AMRAD25. This is a fertilizer company and a supplement company. You go, if you were doing some planting, maybe you have a garden, check out the squid extract, seeing some really amazing results there. It's a brand new product. If you want to check out the pharmacy, spelled with an F, those are supplements. It includes things like black turmeric, turmeric trio, mushroom supplements, CBDs, even CBD for your fur baby. All that available to you at a discount of 10% when you use promo code AMRAD25 at trueearth.co. So reunited with you, the American Radicals Podcast audience, and now reunited with my co-host, Garrett O'Boyle. Find him on social media at GOBActual. I got lots of sun this week. I don't know how things were because, again, didn't have the internet. Was there a blizzard? How was things in Nineveh?
No blizzard, but it's still like winter here. A couple of the days it's warmed up a little bit, but like in the
Hugging
morning,
on you with the weather is like my favorite thing to do.
maybe someday, Steve. Someday Someday I will move to Florida, or at least visit again. Hopefully, Lord
It
willing.
is a land of milk and honey and iguanas. There were many iguanas running around where I was, and they were not falling out of trees because it was just beautiful out there.
Yeah, you
All
guys get iguana roadkill. We get squirrels up here and possums.
right. So I told you before the show that I had this, and I've kept the details close to the vest here. This is a story that came across. It is a 2018 story. It's actually about a women empowerment style. It's a finances website where they have women give their background, how much money they make, what they spend it in a given week. Right. And see how the women in the workplace, it's all about girl power, and they're really like, they're all about making sure that they're independent because they need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. That's, I think, the element here. And look, I'm not going to dunk on anybody who wants to have financial responsibility. However, I will dunk on the character of person here. And I think the 2018 aspect of it is important because this is a woman, a young lady. I think she's probably about 22, 23 years old. So if you flash forward 7 years, she's about 30. So she would be in the age demographic now of the moms and the coexist bumper stickers driving the Subarus. And I think this is her origin story. And I think there were some indicators along the way. So we're going to go through the entire thing and laugh our tails off and also just be blown away that this person is a real person and it is not fictional. And this website is called Refinery 29. And this particular article is entitled "A Week in New York City on $25 an Hour and a $1,000 Monthly Allowance." And again, this is 2018, so we haven't been hit with Biden inflation. So the numbers might be a little askew, but I still think that it is relevant to what we're talking about today. So this young lady, she is unnamed. It's anonymous. We're going to call her Karen, though, Garrett. Okay. All right. And background on Karen is she is a marketing intern in HR at 21 years old. So she's now 28, 29 years old, living in New York City, making $25 an hour. So the basic background is she makes $750 a week. I mean, that's three grand a month. She also makes about $100 every a couple weeks from babysitting. Her parents kick in $800 a month.
Thanks, mom and dad.
Kicks in $300 a month. She's basically pulling down like maybe around 4 grand a month, living in New York City. So that might be difficult. So I'll work my way through it, and we're gonna go line by line as a true finance expert does. Monthly expense: she lives in a one-bedroom apartment with a roommate. She pays $2,100 a month for this apartment. So half of her money is gone. No student loan payments because her parents are paying for her education. No health insurance because her parents are paying for health insurance. No phone bill because her parents are paying for her phone.
Wow.
No Netflix, Spotify, or Amazon because she uses her parents' accounts. What she does spend her money on is a gym membership of $200 a month.
Yikes.
She gets a Brazilian sugaring once a month. She's a membership to do that.
What does that even mean?
I leave
Is
that up to Rose in the chat to explain it.
Is that like a bikini wax or something?
Yes. And she has a movie pass. Remember when movie pass was a thing a
Yeah.
few years back? That was, gosh, I bought my parents that for Christmas one year. It was a great idea. For those who don't know, you basically got a pass. You could go watch like 1 or 2 movies every month for peanuts. It was like $9 a month. It was great. All right. So
And
we're
then
gonna work.
COVID came and destroyed movie theaters.
No, it's definitely the COVID's fault. It's definitely not the fact that they tried to make Snow White into a racial minority. All right. Oh, every day of the week, she's going to talk through what she's doing and her entire routine. And, there's timestamps here. So, all right. So Karen, she wakes up at 7:35 a.m.
Okay.
It's the day after July 4th, and I'm beat from drinking all day yesterday.
Well, that'll do it to you.
I also had a panic attack last night, and I'm still feeling a little bit off. Thankfully, my boyfriend slept over and helped to calm me down. Living in sin. All right. Half hour later, she meditates and then packs up workout clothes in her briefcase. For breakfast, I make my classic avocado
Oh
toast
boy. Of
with,
course.
with feta cheese, hard boiled egg. I found that this combo keeps me satisfied until lunch. Now we're coming up on 9 o'clock. Being that everyone had the day off yesterday, I think I'll be okay getting in a couple minutes late to work. She's an intern. I stopped by Whole Foods to pick up a bottle of cold brew to keep at the office. It's easiest way for me not to spend too much on coffee. It costs her $7.
Whoa, that's way too. I mean, make your own. It's not hard. Oh man.
It's 9 o'clock on day one, Garrett.
Oh, when mom and dad are paying for everything, it's easy for us to dunk on government. And it seems like we do that pretty regularly, including EBT programs and whatever else, especially when, as typical with government, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. But this is enabling. Mom and dad are enabling so she can go buy her $7 coffee. You know what this woman needs? One, she needs to get out of New York City. Two, she needs to marry that boyfriend or some other guy who's going to fall for her trap, and leave and cleave. It seems like so many people don't understand the biblical roots of a man and wife get married, they leave their family, and they become one. But the interference from mom and dad for this. What did you say she was? 25-year-old
21
intern.
year old
21.
HR marketing intern. So we're getting close to lunchtime, 11:26 a.m. Spend most of my morning working on a small project, online shopping, and journaling. Perk of being an intern is that I don't get too much work assigned in a day, but I do find myself bored occasionally. 12:30, she checks the Albert app I downloaded last month. It's supposed to smart save for you by tracking how much you make and spend. So far, I've saved $113 to pay for my Equinox membership next month at the high-end bike place. It's sick. It reminds me that I spent $55 on coffee last month. Not too bad. So 12:35, she goes up to the cafeteria for lunch. I get a soup and salad and take my lunch outside because it's not that hot. It costs her $8. Sit around, do nothing until 3 p.m. So she's a really valuable intern.
Mm.
3:30, quick break to eat an apple, drink green tea. I brought the apple from home and make the green tea in the office pantry. I hit a wall every day at this time, and the green tea gives me a great dose of caffeine. 4:42, finally done with my meetings. My boss is going out of town for 2 weeks and has left me with a bunch of little tasks to take care of. I leave every day at 5 on the dot. Great employee.
Yes, she's
It
really
it's
working hard to turn that internship into a full-time job at the end.
it's not hard to show up early and leave a little bit late to leave a lasting impression, but Karen hasn't learned that yet. She's new. So the company doesn't want interns working late as it reflects poorly on them. I guess that's the way they operate. Nowhere.
Yeah.
That's just her misconception. I don't mind because I get to go work out, enjoy my afternoons every day. I also get to work from home tomorrow, so it's basically feels like it's Friday. 5:45, I attend my new
So she's admitting, she's admitting right there that she's not going to work from home tomorrow. She's going to log in and not do anything.
I attend a new class at Equinox. It's called The Muse. It's a mix between bar, dance, and Pilates. The instructor has some technical difficulties getting the music set up, but the class is awesome. 7 p.m. Spend the rest of my afternoon packing for my. Well, she said she needed to get out of New York, Garrett. So she spends the rest of her afternoon packing for her trip to the Hamptons this weekend.
Oh, nice. So she's really not going to work tomorrow.
No, not at all. So my awesome friend always hosts my entire girl squad for weekends out there. So every weekend she goes to the Hamptons.
Goodness gracious, Steve. Oh.
7:33, prepare dinner with random findings in my fridge. During the school year, I cook every meal in my apartment. It feels so nice to cook for myself. I whip up whole wheat pasta with vodka sauce,
Mm.
roasted carrots, tomatoes, and a veggie burger. So random, yet so yummy. 11:36, called a night earlier than I have in weeks. Garrett, do you stay up till 11:36? So excited. She's very excited to sleep alone in bed. Again, leaving and cleaving is not on top of mind. So her daily total, she keeps track. She only spent $15.12. All right. This is all coming from this, what is this? Refinery 29 from 2018. So day one, Garrett, in the books, we get sort of an idea of who Karen is, but I think we're about to see the veil pull back a little bit because she's going to expose her true personality as she is with her friends. I think that they're going to like extract that out of her as she's about to hit the road and take, just a real humble, almost like a staycation in the Hamptons,
Yeah.
away from the hustle and bustle of New York City, where she earns 4 grand a month and drops at least half of it. Well, I want to say earned. I mean, she's given 4 grand a month and half of it on her apartment. All right.
We must be in sync today, Steve, because hustle and bustle of the city was momentarily coming off my tongue, and you said it.
Day two, Garrett. She went to bed last night at 11:36. Okay. And she was relieved because she's going to get a good night's sleep. 9 a.m., my alarm goes off. When was the last time you slept for 9.5 hours uninterrupted?
I think before children.
Quickly switch on my work laptop to see if I have any emails.
I better log in quick.
Per usual, I do not. She had to wake herself up at 9 a.m. to act like she was going to work from home.
I want to know how she woke up at 7:35 after admittedly drinking all day on the 4th, and then she couldn't wake up in time for. Oh, I know why. It's because it's an early start to the weekend, as she admitted last night.
Correct. So she finishes packing up because she didn't pack up the night before because she was very busy.
She was too busy shuffling around her small kitchen to find implements to put into her dinner.
She heads over to her boyfriend's. Since we're getting breakfast together before I leave, I call a lift line because I can't carry my purse, weekend bag, and work briefcase on a 20-minute walk. She needs to do better at Equinox because she's really weak. So the lift cost her $4.87. 10:30 a.m. After working for a bit at my boyfriend's place, we head over to a local juice bar for acai bowls and smoothies. we had originally agreed on going to a diner, but boyfriend got up early to go to the gym, feels like eating healthy. I don't complain because he pays for the smoothie. I walk over to Equinox for a hot yoga class. I love to exercise before weekend trips. Makes me feel like I'm starting off on the right foot. We're now into the afternoon, 1:34 p.m. She's supposed to be working from home still, Garrett. The class was amazing.
Her laptop's logged in. It's got to be.
She says, I shower and I get ready for my 2.5 hour car ride. I'm so thankful for Equinox amenities. They have a shower there. 2:05, she arrives at my friend's apartment to meet up before we drive to the Hamptons. Before the whole group convenes, I run to Sweet Green to pick up lunch.
I thought she didn't get off of work until 5.
On the dot.
It's 2 p.m. and she's heading over to her friend's house after a day on the town with the boyfriend.
She worked out and showered. She goes to this place called Sweet Green. I'm not Manhattanite. I guess it's a place you can like make your own salad. She makes a custom salad and she adds tofu.
Ugh.
And it cost her $11.
That's actually pretty cheap for Manhattan.
For Manhattan, yeah. We decided to pick up some wine. I buy a bottle of Rosé and Gavi de Gavi for $32.
One bottle for the drive up, I reckon.
And then at 5 p.m., they're already on the road. So they had a pit stop at a gas station, gum and sparkling water.
Oh, man.
$6. 609.
I'm thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, man. When I'm road tripping, I'm getting a can of Grizzly and I don't know, some type of Nos or Red Bull or something.
You're not going to Equinox though,
This
all
is
right?
true.
And getting 9.5 hours of sleep.
Or
the
the
body is a temple. Okay. So they arrive in the Hamptons and hit absolutely no traffic because things always work out for Karen. Pretty amazing for a Friday afternoon. 7:15 p.m. All the girls staying in my friend's house for the weekend, cook dinner, prepare a huge healthy, delicious feast of scallops, salmon, potatoes, grilled zucchini, peppers, caprese, and summer salads. Dinner is followed by pie, grilled peaches, and ice cream. 9:30, everyone decides to stay in for the night to prepare for one full day tomorrow. I agree that it's the move. We're all in bed for the next hour. I Venmo my friend who drove for gas money $10. So she winds up spending $65 on day 2. And she's in the Hamptons for free. I mean, staying in her friend's house. So she's handling the money really well. But the blissful way in which young Karen is operating is not lost in the fact that I believe that Karen probably has 1.5 children at this point because she's mutilated one of them, right?
Most likely, yes. Because she's got to live her lifestyle. I can't have a kid getting in the way of that. So murder it is.
Yeah.
Also, the house in the Hamptons. Let's be real. That's not her friend's house. That's her friend's parents' house.
Yes. yes. And look, she's in college. I mean, if I have a house in the Hamptons, I'll let my children go there too.
Oh,
but I would never let them go into the Hamptons because they might bump into Karen. Yeah, right.
They don't
All
want
right.
rubbing off.
Day 3 for Karen. And this is where she's really going to show you who she is. She's going to let her hair down now that she's on the weekend. She's been like locked in at work. I mean, it's okay to show up late and make sure you leave on time. And then when you work from home, not do anything all day. Ensure that you set your alarm for 9 o'clock and you're awake to check your emails. And road trip out to the Hamptons with the ladies. Now things are about to get really interesting. Refinery 29 from 2018. 8:07. I wake up with no alarm.
Oh.
I feel so well rested. My friend texts me and asks if I want to go on a run. I haven't run in forever. Gosh, Karen.
Wait. They're staying in the same house, and she texts her to see if she wants to.
This is why we're friends, Garrett. This is the person that drives around the parking lot at the gym looking for the closest spot. She hasn't run in forever, but the idea of trotting along Sag Harbor Road sounds fantastic. My other friend books a Barry's boot camp class and offers to drop us off at the beach so we can run back home.
Oh.
So 9:30, we make it back in 40 minutes. That's weak sauce, Karen. You need to be out there a lot longer than that. Still can't believe I ran 3.9 miles. She ran slower than a 10-minute pace.
Is that enough to pass the FBI's PFT?
For the women, it is. Yes. I still can't believe I ran 3.9 miles after months and months of not running long distance. I'm so happy I got up to exercise. By the time we get back, the rest of the girls are up making breakfast. I have avocado toast, scrambled eggs, fruit, and coffee. 11:12 a.m. The girl squad gets ready to go out on my friend's boat. Her dad offers to take us out on the water for the afternoon. Couldn't be more excited. I grew up boating and absolutely love the ocean. She grew up boating.
Of course you did. Of course you grew up boating on mom and daddy's dime.
A few of us bring the dinghy out so we can tube and drive up to the beach later. On our way.
Dinghy? What's a dinghy?
It's a small motorized boat, Gary.
Oh, okay.
On our way to the
If I ever have a boat, Steve, I'm going to name it Drunk Jenny.
No, you're going to name it the SS Dinghy. All right. I'm glad it's Saturday, American Radicals. Come on. Okay. All right. A few of us bring the dinghy out on our way home to the marina. We pick up food. I get a piece of salmon, a freekeh salad, and cauliflower salad for $22.
Oh, $22. Yikes.
Yeah,
Prices in the Hamptons are worse than in Manhattan.
It's probably mostly the salmon. I don't think that's an indigenous species. Okay. Now we're into the afternoon. We arrive at Sunset Beach. The water is rough. We wish we hadn't taken out the dinghy.
No.
Would have much rather been in the big boat. All the rosé has gone by the time we wrapped up. They're just winding it up.
You should have bought 4 bottles, not 2.
You know, when I keep saying the term dinghy, have we ever talked about the donger on the front of the FBI's Bearcat before?
I don't think we have.
Okay. So the Bearcat is the armored vehicle that the FBI drives. For those who don't know, it's actually on an F-150 frame, so it's hardly like a military vehicle, but it's the giant battering ram that you have to attach in the front, and it's probably a joke for the guys who did it. They call it a donger.
Yep.
That's how you knock down the door. Uh,
Here, I got
uh,
a picture of it. Well, not the donger, but, where is it?
I
Hang on.
believe I believe the Washington field office calls theirs the DOJ, the donger of justice.
I bet they do. So if you're watching, you can see this is what a Bearcat looks like, and the donger comes right off the front of that, and it's got all sorts of different attachments, and it's a battering ram. It can be like a hook tool.
Mhm.
Do all
And the
sorts.
plan is to make that vehicle electric within the next
Oh,
few years, which will void the warranty and cost somewhere in the area of like $200,000 to do.
each.
And then when you have to drive to a operation somewhere, you're going to have to find a charging station along the way. So what might have taken you a few hours is going to take you a few weeks.
Mm.
So
And what kind of tires are they going to have on that?
soy. Soy tires by contract, unless, of course, the squirrels find out, the squirrels that haven't been roadkill in Wisconsin. All right. Uh, so they arrive and the rosé is gone. Now it's like getting into the middle afternoon, 3:56 p.m. After being anchored for a little over an hour, we come back to the marina, help clean up, make our way to the house. All the girls pile into two cars. Pool and chill time all afternoon. Play
Mm.
by the pool and tan. Man, she's just like me. And until I go upstairs and shower and lay in bed for a while. So I thought she felt really well rested. Maybe it was
Yeah.
the rosé. 6:15, my friend's chef,
Chef.
her friend's chef
Wow.
prepares vegan tacos, chicken tacos, and veggie salad for all of us. It's a perfect pre-drinking meal.
You've been drinking all day.
After dinner, we all get dressed up for the party tonight. Now, 3 hours later, 9:06, we are drunk and ready to go after an hour-long pregame. A friend of mine let me make 4 drinks with her Bacardi, so I Venmo her a little money. She had 4 Bacardis and sends the woman $5.
Yeah. Thanks.
She's a cheapskate. Dude, 2 Ubers are called to get us to the party. My friend splits it with 3 people, not including me. I make a mental note to pay the car back. The party is so fun, but way overhyped. Like, this was supposed to be like the Hamptons Jam that they have like TV shows about. But
Maybe you were too drunk by the time you got there
that's
to
always been the thing that I remember. I'm a teetotaler. I know I'm weird, and I remember people in college, especially, talking about how like the party was awesome. Like the party was great. I don't remember any of it, and I'm like, well, I do. And you were in the corner talking to a plant the entire night.
So, how do you know it was great if you don't
Yeah.
remember?
I mean, you were an infantry 11 Bravo, Garrett. I mean, is Karen's experience thus far something like you would experience with your infantry bros
Yeah, pretty
in the
similar.
regiment on the
Uh-huh.
town?
Yes, very similar, except instead of the Hamptons, we'd go to whoever lived off post because they had a spouse. And if we couldn't, we'd just hang out in the barracks. That's where we would do our pregame. And then
Mm,
we'd go out on the town too,
mm.
wherever.
Were you drinking Bacardi in the barracks?
Sometimes.
All right. So she bought a ticket for this party, and it's now 10:30. She bought the ticket a couple weeks ago for $20. I couldn't believe I actually let myself pay for a big house party. Then again, it has an open bar.
Well, okay. Now you got to get your money's worth.
So this is a way overhyped party in which she attends for 3 hours because it's now beyond 1 a.m.
Oh,
Time to go home.
I don't think she's getting up at 7:35.
The music gets shut down, even though the guys who were throwing it have a permit. So I guess the Hampton police said, like, knock it off.
Hmm.
I open Uber and see that it costs $76. So I
Yikes.
freak out. Maybe I'll wait and see if someone else can stomach calling it. It's now 1:11. My friends are too drunk and won't leave, so I call it. I check Lyft. The big car is only 33 bucks. Two girls in my car play dumb and don't pay me.
Mm.
2:06 a.m. Finally in bed. I'm definitely too drunk. She spends $39 for the day.
That's not too bad, especially when 33 of those dollars go to the lift.
Hmm. Well, now here's where you were wrong, Garrett, because now we're into day 4. She got to bed at 2:06 a.m. and you said she was definitely not getting up early, right?
Mm-hmm.
7:12 a.m. she
Oh
wakes up.
no. Oh no. This is the
Uh,
hangover wake up.
I am up and starving. I didn't late night munch, so I wake up with sharp pains. I hate having to snoop in my friend's house, but I
Sharp
need
pains, like
food.
she's an African refugee who hasn't eaten in 2 weeks.
She has a distended stomach. All right. I need food. I find a carton of blueberries and a yogurt in the fridge. I think this will be enough to let me
Oh,
sleep in more.
that sounds horrible. Horrible hangover food right there.
She only gets back to bed for like 40 minutes, wide awake with a brewing stomach ache.
Oh, yeah, the blueberries and yogurt are gonna do that to you, sweetheart.
At 21 years old, and I presume she didn't wait till she was of legal drinking age. Shouldn't she have acquired that sort of knowledge? What's your favorite hangover food, Garrett, by the way?
It's gotta be like a cheeseburger or bacon and eggs or something with a little, protein and fat and grease behind it to really help sop up your misdeeds from the night before.
The problem though is like you're a health freak and you go to Equinox and you run like 10-minute miles. Like those calories add up.
They do.
It's just, I mean, and Bacardi is not calorie free, by the way. uh, so she's wide awake with this stomach ache. I wonder what could have caused it. I don't think having yogurt was the move.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
huh.
live and learn. Two of my friends text that they're up and want to go get bagels.
More texting in the same house.
Mhm.
Why
So
don't you
they
just get up and go have some coffee in the kitchen while you munch on your blueberries and decide what you want for breakfast?
So she gets texted and is dying, like, she feels horribly ill and still waits over an hour to go to the bagel shop.
Oh, oh.
Truly feel so nauseous. I have to sit down and let my friends order bagels for me. My friend requests $4 for my breakfast. I'm in desperate need of carbs. I try to eat a bagel with all my gal's friends, but cannot bring myself to take a bite. I know something is wrong, as this is not my usual hangover tummy ache. Do you have a usual? Like, you have a problem.
Yes. Every weekend I get it at least once.
I run to the toilet and puke up all the yogurt. Only eat carbs after a night of drinking.
Oh, crap.
I think you have established that's not also a good remedy.
Yeah.
Protein. So she pukes up all the yogurt and then goes back and eats
Oh, now I feel better. Time for that bagel.
bagel with lox. She's eating fish.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness. Oh.
She eats, she eats a bagel with lox and eggs. I'm
Oh.
so thankful I got rid of that toxic shit in my system.
The yogurt might have had some probiotic in it, so it's not toxic. It's good
God,
for you, but when you're mixing it with Bacardi, maybe not the best combo.
Karen's my favorite person right now, and I've read this before. All right. It's 10:45 a.m. By now, we're laying by the pool, enjoying the day, all extremely hungover. That's the cautionary tale.
Are you really enjoying it then? Because it's not a good feeling.
Man, if you go to the Hamptons, I feel like you'd really want to experience the accoutrements. Like you went out on a boat, it's beautiful out there, and instead you're like confined to be next to a pool. You might as well just go to a Holiday Inn, right? 10:45 a.m. By now, no, sorry, 12:22 p.m. They've been by the pool for a couple hours. Whole group gets hungry. We go to the local health restaurant.
Mm.
Stay health conscious. I get goat cheese and avocado wrap.
Oh,
Ooh,
man.
23 bucks.
Oh, 23. She
Oh,
eats a lot of avocado.
Yeah, and that's I think that's an indicator of what the Karens were. That's where the trend started. Avocado toast, I don't think 7 years ago was it a thing yet.
No,
It
not
sounds like
quite.
it started in New York. That's probably it just disseminated out to the millennials.
To the rest of us.
Mhm. 2:30, spend the afternoon strolling around town. I get the most delicious froyo, which I haven't had in forever. Vegan, gluten-free, added sugar-free, mixed berry flavor, shaved coconut, cocoa chips, candied walnuts. Froyo cost her $9.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe she actually has a stomach of steel, but for me, if I'm throwing up yogurt, I'm not eating yogurt a couple hours later,
That's pretty wild, right? I
even
mean,
if it's froyo.
man, and I was trying this is funny because I'm reminded of it. I was trying to tell my kids what TCBY was.
I don't know what that is.
You don't
TC.
know what the country's best yogurt? It was like a ice cream chain. It was like 31 flavors, but it was froyo. It
No.
was massive. Oh man, this
Huh.
story is lost on you now. But you could go in there and get the toppings you wanted. You could get vanilla, chocolate, or swirl, and it
Swirl
would
all day.
be like 30 ounces in a cup, right? Enormous. And you get M&Ms on it or chocolate, whatever you wanted, sprinkles. And I remember clear as day going. They had them in the airport. We might go. My dad would have a business trip. We'd drop them off at the airport. Mom would get us TCBY. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is fat free because it was in the 90s and fat free was like all the trend. Like, this is like taking vitamins. This is good for me. All right. Back to Karen, who's got the Billy Goat gut. Most of the girls start to head out at 4:16 p.m. as they all have trains and buses to catch. I'm driving back with the same group that I drove with, and we agree to leave later at night so we can enjoy a yummy dinner and avoid traffic. 6:30, pack up my bag, take a shower to prepare for the trip home. We're all starving and decide to head back into town for sushi, where she's been sick all day. The wait is 30 minutes, so we walk around town, people watch until our table's ready. 8:30, dinner's delicious, the service is terrible, the food is overpriced. The edamame comes out last, and my steamed veggie dumpling appetizer is forgotten. We get individual checks because some of my friends order drinks, some of us got more food. My check is $45.
Yipes.
One person. I'm in shock, but swallow my pride because hashtag Hamptons prices. $45. It's
She
now.
eats an awful lot of yogurt, avocado, and fish.
Mhm.
No wonder she's getting tummy aches.
No wonder she's struggling to hit 10-minute mile pace too.
Ugh, yeah.
11:08 p.m. We make really good time back to the city in the Hamptons until we reach the airport area. There's traffic. We're stuck in it for 40 minutes. Now it's midnight. Finally make it to my boyfriend's apartment. I have a mini panic attack, as I frequently do. My anxiety usually gets the best of me after vacations. I'm glad to be seeing my therapist tomorrow.
Oh my.
Although my boyfriend and I are excited to spend the night together, my panic attack leaves me exhausted.
What's with the panic attacks?
After taking a from what I can tell, very restful weekend vacation, I don't know why you would have anxiety.
Right.
Maybe I'll tell you what it is. She is fearful that tomorrow she might only be a couple minutes late to work. Like
Yeah.
that grind has got to be just devastating.
It's just ridiculous to me. And I know we all come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different upbringings, different experiences, but this it seems to me this is 2018, but it seems that by and large in America we've got a real problem with over prescription of all sorts of different medicines, going to therapists. Maybe a little hardship would do you some good because this is 2 panic attacks in what, 5 days?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's not. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of like underlying condition. I mean, if she's going to a therapist, I mean, her demographic, I think, is probably the most medicated and therapist driven group that we have in the country at this point right now.
And when you look at the history of humankind, you would suspect that they would be the least because they're so wealthy. And when you look at wealth historically for humans, you're going to the Hamptons, you're spending $45 on a meal, and I know that like half of your budget is provided for you, but you're one of the most wealthy people in the world.
Mhm. I mean, just for perspective, I mean, I think Golden Corral is still exists, right?
The buffet.
If you walked into a Golden Corral right now, you would have more variety than Genghis Khan had when he was atop the Mongol Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Wealth beyond anything that anyone in the history of our species has had, and the ability to pay for it with a device in your pocket. You just send a Venmo over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to have a little bit of hardship. You got to develop that muscles. So you give yourselves everything, give your kids everything except hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes do that. I don't think Karen got that. We're on to day 5. Again, a week in New York City on $25 an hour and $1,000 monthly allowance. 7:35 a.m. alarm goes off for work. It can be so grueling to get back into the swing of things after a fun
Oh
weekend.
gosh.
I get ready pretty fast because I opt out of my morning meditation and shower. Not a good idea.
Especially with all the therapy you need. It sounds like you need to meditate more.
She didn't meditate, she didn't shower, but instead cuddled with boyfriend.
Ugh.
I also make hard-boiled eggs for breakfast. I leave his she makes hard-boiled eggs and leaves his place stinking.
Thanks.
She leaves a little earlier just in case it takes me longer to get to work, and I buy a banana on the way for 50 cents.
That's a fair
9
price.
Yeah, I mean, that's like 1998 prices. I don't know how brown that banana was, but all right. 9:05. She's supposed to be there at 9, Garrett. It's 9:05 a.m.
Come waltzing in.
The F train is so slow. I drop off my mules at the shoe repair before heading into work. I want to get my shoes sold so I don't feel as guilty when ruining them on New York City concrete. 12:45 p.m. My morning flies by at work because I get assigned a bunch of tasks. Boyfriend offers to meet me for lunch and treats me to a Chipotle bowl. I
Oh.
get the sofritas, but
Ugh.
kind of wish I'd gotten a veggie bowl. This is probably going to give her a panic attack later.
Yeah. Get some chicken at least. Some steak.
3:30, she's snacking, perfect bar. And I bring from home and I drink a hot tea. 5:02, she's left the office already. She heads to Whole Foods straight from work. My fridge is completely empty and she was gone all weekend, so she didn't do her regular chores, right? So from eating everything before I left for the weekend, I buy salad dressing, soy sauce,
Ugh.
olives, salmon, feta cheese, avocados, blackberries, baby kale, a tub of yogurt,
Yogurt strikes again.
cauliflower, orange pepper, Fuji apples, all of it for the low, low price of $48.24, which is going to give her like dinner and lunch tomorrow. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's basically it.
Yep. Avocados, yogurt, and fish, the staples to Karen's life.
That's the I think it's the Jim Gaffigan bit where he says he buys avocados and he saves time by when he walks out of the store, he dumps them directly in the trash can because they go bad that fast.
Most of the time, you do got to eat those things quick.
So 5:45 p.m., I get home and put away my groceries because I have nothing else to do. I walk
Oh,
to my therapist's office
well, there you go.
instead of taking the subway. It's a 22-minute walk, but it's so nice out that I use the time to listen to a podcast. Hopefully, the American Radicals podcast.
But she doesn't say what it is.
She says, I really like the Skinny Confidential Him and Her podcast.
Never heard of it.
I find her voice annoying, but she has really good guests on her show.
Wait, so you find the host annoying, but you like? Okay, all right.
This is the problem if you don't have a personality-driven show. It's a guest-driven show. That's what we endeavor to do here. Whenever we have guests, we only have like the Amy Nelson types, the great guests.
Mm-hmm.
6:35 p.m. I have a really great session and leaves me thinking a lot.
What does that mean?
The therapist told her to like rub some dirt on it and harden up.
Yeah.
I definitely need to take more measures to keep my anxiety at bay. I reconsider taking adaptogens and applying essential oils.
So would an adaptogen, would that be like an SSRI?
I was just going to ask you the exact same question.
I think the answer is yes.
So,
Somebody in the chat help us out.
so the therapist was like, "Hey, we're gonna get your life together. Let me just dope you up with a whole bunch of drugs, and then because you're an avocado eating and health nut, essential oils is really what you're going to attribute all of this to,
Mhm.
right?
Just rub some behind your ears, on your wrists, and you're gonna be cured.
And put mustard on the bottom of your feet." All right. 8:15 p.m. I make myself a delicious and very random dinner. Per usual. She just went grocery shopping. It's random.
Mhm.
I bake the whole salmon fillet, prepare a salad, and munch on plantain chips and olives. I save the rest of the salmon for meal prep and then roast cauliflower, cook brown rice for lunch tomorrow. I find having cooked grains and roasted veggies on hand extremely helpful for me when I want to prepare a fast meal. 9:38 p.m. My roomie shows up with her boyfriend, his dog, and 3 friends.
Oh,
I
no.
really wanted a chill night.
There goes the anxiety levels.
She's just going to have to deal with it. These are the moments that make me excited to move to a new place. My place is amazing, but way too small to have lots of people. I ended up shutting my sliding door and trying to relax in my room. They all leave for ice cream soon after, and I'm extremely relieved. 11:30, I barely hear my roommate get back, even though all the lights are on and there's some movement. Definitely some movement. I fall into a deep slumber. Getting to bed early really sets the tone for my day. 11:30 is
Yeah,
early.
that's early.
5 days into this. Do you see, Garrett, how this origin story for Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, the Wicked Witch of the West, do you see how there might have been alarm bells ringing, some red flags along the way?
Oh,
Nobody was saying like, "Hey, Karen," and that's how we got the mask holes, right?
this is it. Just comply or die, Steve. And this is life for people like our Karen. And it actually, I know we've laughed a lot today, and I think it's rightfully so, because a very different perspective and worldview coming from our Karen than either of us have ever probably even contemplated. But in reality, to me, it's a very sad tale of a nation that has too much abundance. Certainly, we've been blessed as a nation probably for far too long, and for whatever reason, in His sovereignty, God decided to bless this land. I think it's starting to come to an end, regardless of who's in the White House, because you can't live this way. You the the therapy, the avocado, the yogurt, and it, for me, the sum total of this is a lot of emptiness. It's a lot of, which I think is probably what leads her to despair and anxiety, is because she hasn't recognized yet that her life is very vapid and dull, and she's not. What's that? What's the pyramid? Self-actualization. She's not getting to that pyramid, if you want to use worldly terms. She's not ascending through the different classes.
Her Maslow's hierarchy of needs is basically like, what can I eat today? And like, she's giving this diary description for purposes of this website to say like how she's spending her money. So it's not like this is how she operates all day long, likely. But I mean, she says like, "Oh, I just kind of sit around, didn't have anything to do all day at work." Right? There's no meaning there, so she puts a lot of emphasis on what she's going to buy at the grocery store. Like that's a very significant part for her. She just needs to probably, I don't know, go make people, but not mutilate them by cutting their genitals off. And by the way, an adaptogen, we were wrong. Adaptogen, it's an herbal medicine,
Oh, okay.
natural substance.
All right.
So she's probably going to see a guru, not a licensed professional who would be
Yeah.
hawking this stuff at her, right?
I guess better than shoving SSRIs down your gullet.
Yeah, probably a RFK Jr. approved therapist. All right. Now we're into day 6 here, the latter days here of our week with Karen. 7:35, that's when her alarm goes off every morning during the week. Get up, meditate 10 minutes. Stop doing guided meditation and instead use the bell function on the Calm app. Every 5 minutes, a little bell goes off to remind me how long I've been sitting. I really enjoy this time to myself. 8:03, I have vanilla yogurt with granola, blackberries, cashew butter.
More yogurt.
8:35, refill my Metro card for $20.95. I haven't considered getting the unlimited pass because I don't use the subway that much. That's responsible. 11:57, I love the days when I pack a really yummy lunch and bring tasty snacks. I snack on half an avocado and love how I can just scoop it out with a spoon. 10 minutes.
It's like its own yogurt, sort of, when you have it that way.
Oh God. It's a really rancid, nasty, mealy brown yogurt. Great. 15 minutes later, she snacked on avocado, but she has
Hungry again.
she's hungry again. It's almost like this is not helping her problem. I take my lunch of baked salmon, brown rice, roasted cauliflower to eat outside. Chat with my boyfriend and mom on the phone while I bask in the sun. 2:00. Sneak into the conference room to watch France versus Belgium soccer game.
That was a World Cup year, wasn't it?
Yes. All right. Commentary on the World Cup when everybody in this country pretends that they care about soccer.
Yeah.
And we really don't. It's a communist sport. By the way, she snuck into the conference room at 2:00 and watched the entire game for the afternoon.
Which
But
is at least 2 hours because it's a 90-minute game. You got breaks and pauses, stoppage time, halftime.
Yep. But in the middle of this, she gets an email from Bear Burger with a free burger credit.
Uh-oh.
She's so stoked.
Yes.
She's definitely ordering it to pick up
The
before she goes.
tofu burger.
She's going to go babysit tonight. She's got to earn an extra coin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So 3:43, snacking on cheese and an apple. Did she do anything other than eat at
Yeah,
this job?
seems like she eats a lot.
And watches soccer. Now to figure out what to do for the next hour I have to work. I've spent most of my day researching podcasts.
That's work now? I got to find my next one. Maybe they won't have an annoying host.
She's been researching podcasts for living your best life. 4:05, I order my burger, which I will pick up in an hour.
An
'Cause
hour?
She knows, 55 minutes. She's got on the dot leave.
Huh.
Downloading the app gives me $12 in credit. My meal is $7.56 instead of $19. It was a $20
Whoa.
hamburger.
Dang.
She orders a black bean burger,
Ugh.
fried egg,
Not
spinach,
even a real burger.
tomato, wrapped in collard greens wrap,
Oh,
side of sweet
gross.
potato fries.
Oh, this is disgusting. Her diet is repulsive.
You're criticizing the yogurt, and you live in the dairy capital of the country, Garrett.
I don't mind yogurt. It's because we're radicals over here, Steve. My wife is relatively trad. She's one of them trad wives. She's been making her own yogurt. It's pretty dang good, dude. Pretty good.
I don't know. She'll have to send the recipe over to Madam Friend. All right, 5:30 p.m. I read outside of my office once I get off work to kill time before I go to babysit. I decide to walk there instead of taking the subway. Using my extra time to spend time outdoors instead of on the subway is such a good mood enhancer. Pick up the burger before starting the night of babysitting. So 3 hours later, it's 8:45. Child's in bed. I snack on feta cheese, stuffed olives, and they have in their fridge. She's raiding their fridge for
More
their bougie
snacking.
food.
Yeah. Goodness.
She turns on Netflix to watch The Kissing Booth. 9:30. Parents come home unexpectedly early. I'm not complaining because I'd love to go home. They pay me for the full night.
Wow.
10:06. Opt to take a shared lift. So she made some extra money, but takes a lift home because I want to get home quicker. I usually get a lot of guilt-ridden anxiety from choosing to take cars, but I relax once I realize the subway is only $1.78 cheaper.
Oh, there you go.
So now it's beyond midnight, 12:36 a.m. I spend the rest of my night cuddled in bed with my boyfriend. Haven't been feeling very lonely. Very lonely lately, and I think it's because I've been craving solitude. This poor bastard. She's gonna dump him in a second as soon as he stops buying her smoothies.
Yeah.
Gonna
Buy her
see-
own sofritas bowl.
I think this feeling is a result of spending the weekend surrounded by my gal pals. The final day of a week with Karen starts at 7:35 a.m. The alarm goes off again. Wake up, meditate, shower, make breakfast. It's getting routine. Everybody's got a routine. Avocado toast,
There it
fried
is.
egg, feta cheese, pack lunch. I don't do my makeup in the morning anymore, which cuts my getting ready time down by 10 minutes.
Fair.
9 a.m. is too early to have makeup dripping down my face. Boyfriend walks me to the subway. 8:34 a.m. Run into my friend from high school while waiting in the
Oh,
subway.
wow.
She's
Small world.
interning. 9:30. I get a call from the building cobbler that my shoes are ready for pickup. I'm so content with how they turned out. She tips him extra $46 to get her shoes cobbled.
Whoa.
11 a.m. Seriously contemplate going around my office asking for work. I'm beyond bored.
Just go watch some more soccer.
11:40. Start getting munchies. Thankful I brought olives. Used to have a major fear of olives due to my dad force feeding them to me when I was 12.
A fear of olives. That's a new one.
She's got to bring that to the tofu eating therapist.
Yes.
12:11. After snacking, this is now 31 minutes later. Take my lunch outside. It's the same: salmon, rice, roasted cauliflower. Listen to an Oprah podcast.
Mm.
Read some of my book entitled "You Don't Have to Like Me." This is
The
perfect.
suspendables understand that in droves.
So at 1:19 p.m., she gets an assignment for work. Now I can be entertained.
Finally. Are you not entertained?
So, all right, details matter in an investigation. 1:19, she gets an assignment. 2:03, she sits in the conference to watch England versus Croatia.
So she did watch more soccer. So yeah, what about that assignment? Are you done? Are you saving it for later?
So about an hour into the game, snacks on an apple.
Oh, more snacking.
4:30, I get assigned a decent amount of work. Why couldn't this have been happened hours ago?
Yeah, I got to go home in 30 minutes.
27 minutes, not a minute later on the dot. 5:10 p.m. She finally leaves work, so she had to stay over for 10 minutes. So she had so
Finally.
much work, she had to take 37 minutes to complete it all. She goes
Shame.
to the gym, to Equinox, which is not cheap, for her yoga class. She's so zoned in. I can't believe it's over when we get to Shavasana. Is that the yoga term?
Sounds accurate. I don't know.
7:12 p.m. Shower, get ready to grab dinner with the boyfriend. Oh no, I'm sorry, the best friend forever, the BFF.
Oh, the BFF.
Mhm.
You say that until you have a falling out in a couple years.
Until she hooks up with your boyfriend. She just moved down the street from me. I'm so sad. I'll be leaving the West Village. She lives in the West Village, of course. In 2 months for my new apartment, mainly because two of my closest friends ended up moving into this neighborhood. I love our new spot. We walk to a pizza place on Houston. 7:45, the waiter tells us it'll be a 5-minute wait.
Oh,
5
that's
minutes
not-
pass, another 20 passes, and suddenly we've been waiting for 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
In that time, a guy I used to sleep with shows up at the same restaurant with his squad of guy friends. The whole restaurant is mayhem. I just want food.
Of course you do.
8:42 p.m. Finally sit down, lovely table, order 2 small pizzas, grilled calamari. I tell her that there's no chance we leave without getting some free stuff. I suggest to the waiter that he brings us some wine on the house, and he does. He also brings us a panna cotta dessert with our check. $36 for 2 pizzas.
That seems reasonable there in that part of the neck, in that neck of the woods.
So our final entry here is at 11:05 p.m. Hang out with the friends a little after dinner. Insist I take home the leftover pizza for lunch tomorrow. I lift home, pick out my clothes for tomorrow, pack my workout clothes, hit the sack. Daily total $91.57. And the weekly total that she spent was $373. And she's, mooching off of people the whole time. She's, I don't know, borrowing and stealing in order to get by. She's just
Like
a
me.
working lady. So a little off our normal trend here on the American Radicals podcast,
I had fun.
but this was fun. I think that is this not an origin story for the current villain in society?
100% is, because when I think of Corella DeVille, when I was a child and 101 Dalmatians came out, she was an old woman in this cartoon rendition. So if you take 21-year-old Karen living this type of life, you can easily see how she's Corella DeVille in another 30 years. And the origin story of every Wicked Witch of the West starts in the West Village.
Nailed it. All right, Garrett, you're gonna close us out for the day, and I have a palate cleanse.
Yes, sir. All right, we're still in our righteousness exalta nation category. I forgot to pull it up, so bear with me. And actually, how about I do this? How about I run our little clip first, and then I'll give it a little read.
If you were to ask, is the law of God abiding and relevant today? Is it like something to be like prophetically brought out to the world? I think the vast majority would say no. And I think we're gaining ground today as post-millennial theonomists, amen? Yeah, we're growing. But I think the vast majority would say, no, it's not relevant. All we need is Jesus and we just want to go to heaven one day. That's it. Thankfully, things weren't always this way. And you can see the remnants of a mind toward God, His authority, and His Word still stamped into things all across this nation. So recently, I went to represent our church body for one of our bills, or a bill in the state of Missouri. It was a bill of abolition. It was ultimately killed by the Conservative Party and the pro-lifers, as usual. But I got to speak, at this point, I got to speak inside the Capitol, which, by the way, I've spoken now at a lot of capitals across the country and sat down in legislatures across the country. Arizona's Capitol is lame. It is so embarrassingly bad. I mean, I don't know who we talk to about this, but it is really embarrassing. When you go to some of these other states like South Carolina or Missouri, I mean, it is this like monument to like beauty and glory, and the creativity of God is like, whoa, like even a place that's Denver, Colorado, you're still like, this is beautiful, and you are weird people here. So, but I was in Missouri, and I got to speak right in the middle of the Capitol, and as I'm speaking, that message is up somewhere, but as I'm speaking, all around me, like into the wall, carved into the wall, are scriptures about the triune God of Holy Scripture. They're all into the wall. Right? Everybody there, the legislators were all afraid just to take a stand on Jesus. Right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to establish justice. We're going to be righteous and just for the sake of these children because we're Christians and Jesus is Lord. And those legislators are like, we can't be that explicit in our commitments because we're legislators, and we can't be all about, Jesus is Lord and this is the final authority. And we just really can't be that explicit in our Christian commitments. And I'm standing there in the middle of the Capitol going, you're violating what is in the walls of your Capitol. The people who built this place understood the authority and the Christian of Christ and the Christian worldview better than you. They weren't cowards like you are.
I think in a large part that is really what it boils down to. That's what our story of Karen boils down to. And she, quite frankly, she probably doesn't know it. She doesn't realize it. She doesn't understand the supremacy of God's word and the authority of Christ, or the cowardice that will lead straight to the pits of hell, like so many in our nation have succumbed to and fallen victim to. But our verse is Proverbs 14:34 still. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And I don't think we can hammer this point enough about righteousness exalting a nation. I'm not saying everything Karen did was wrong or bad, or everything our nation does is wrong or bad. But I don't know how you can objectively look at it through the lens of God's law, through the lens of God's righteousness and his standards of righteousness, and say that we are not a sinful people overall. And as it says there, sin is a reproach to any people. Oh yeah, I ran into a guy that I used to sleep with. Not a boyfriend, not a husband, just a guy I used to sleep with. And that's okay. That's acceptable in our society. And so that's where the point of righteousness exalting a nation cannot be hammered home enough.
Well, hopefully, you have Karen finding her path. Hopefully, she's not the Cruella de Vil or the Maleficent at this point. Hopefully, she's in a nice marriage, and if she does, she will definitely be involved in an interaction that I think everybody who is blissfully betrothed will, and that is the subject of today's palate cleanse. Married life be like.
Oh my God, I'm so irritated. I am so irritated right now.
Why are you irritated?
Can you let me get it out and not cut me off, please? Like, really? Can you just let me talk and I will tell you?
Off. I'm just asking why you're irritated. You said you paused after you said you was irritated. So I asked why you was.
I never paused. And now I see that you're getting mad, so I don't even want to talk to you. I'm not going to deal with that.
I'm not mad.
Well, I feel that you're mad, and this is why I can't talk to you.
You can talk to me.
No, I clearly can't.
I was just asking why you were irritated. I didn't.
You were asking, and then you cut me off when I was trying to tell you. But now
I never
don't want
cut
to
you off.
You did cut me off, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I never cut you off, though.
You did cut me off, and I was trying to tell you, but now I see that you're gonna get mad and cut me off, so I can't tell you anything now. It's fine.
All I asked was why you was irritated. I was trying to be supportive. I was trying to.
Well, now it is what it is. Are you gonna say something? Say something.
I don't know what to say. I'm confused.
So what you're saying is I'm confusing you. So you're confused about being with me? You don't know if you want to be with me or not?
I never said that.
So what are you saying? Because you're cutting me off, getting mad, and telling me that you don't want to be with me. Now what? What else?
Oh, think of all the great times you could have, Karen. Come on over to the Trad Life.
Yes.
All right. Guys, this was fun.
Oh,
I'm glad we
very
got
fun.
back at
This
it.
is very fun.
This is a good one today. Back to normal fare Tuesday, 10:30 here, rumble.com/amradpod. Until then, guys, have a great weekend.
You've been listening to the voice of the Suspendables on the American Radicals podcast. Follow us on rumble.com/amradpod.